this works. I might have to go over to YouTube really quick to see if this is working. Let's see.
Can you do it from yours?
Actually, you can check it out from yours. What's up, everybody? We are streaming a little bit everywhere right now. We're testing out some multi-streaming services. What's up, Humphrey? Felix is in the chat. If you guys want to hop over to either Facebook,
there it is. It is working.
You can hop over to Facebook, you can hop over to YouTube, or you can hang out here on TikTok. We're live everywhere, and all of my chat goes to one chat. I wish I could have got TikTok working. I couldn't figure out how to get TikTok on it, but hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. Tomorrow, too, we need to figure out if I can go get a ring light. This is the heck is Restream. You're seeing it right here. Mac, you're watching from YouTube. I can see that. What's going on? Line Creek's over on Facebook. This is crazy. This is awesome.
Does it show
Contrast
you?
is darker. Yeah, on this it is because it's higher up. I need to set up a ring light. But yeah, it's
so. How do you know?
So that's Facebook. That's YouTube.
Oh, it shows the picture.
It shows everything. I can see everybody who's talking. Desty's over on YouTube right now.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. Give me that. I'm gonna move TikTok. I'm gonna move you guys down from here because this is too dark for you guys. My bad, TikTok. If I move you guys here, it's a little bit better. So I'll be having you guys off to the side like this.
Why did you just get a southern accent like that, Victor?
Your light box looks like the gates to heaven. It kind of does. We need to get a bit brighter light for that too, and that'll make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
What's good, everybody? Welcome in. We're testing out some new software. So tomorrow morning shipping live is going to be amazing. We're literally going to be able to do it all on all platforms. And I feel bad because, what's up, Colleen? I haven't been able to do lives on Facebook because I had to choose which one I was going to do lives on. But now I can do lives everywhere. I can even do lives on Instagram too. What's up, Blended? Appreciate everybody hopping in. We're going to get some listings done. I'm just playing around with some new software right now. Look how professional it looks. I got my logo up here. I got my name down here. This is crazy. Chris, come look at this. Chris, you need to do this. Hi, Duder. I mean, what kind of measurements do you take on women's clothes? It depends on the women's item. It's normally pit to pit, top to bottom. Oh, by the way, you got like my Adidas shirt? It's missing the eye. I don't have the eye on this shirt, but it's normally the same measurements. It depends on what we're listing, though. It's like you're everywhere now. I know, everywhere all at once. Who are you, Kevin Gates? I guess I am. Stay. We need to know the brands to sell. Okay, we'll hang out. Don't walk into the light box. That's what Dusty said. Don't walk into the light box. No, that's hilarious. You're funny. How do you see all the comments? So on Restream, it puts all of my comments on Restream. It's pretty awesome. Here, I'll show TikTok. I can't show. I guess I could show that. I could show you guys too. Whoops. All my comments are all on one thing. So this is a YouTube comment, Facebook. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. How many devices do we need to pull this off? You can actually do them all on one device, Chris. I couldn't figure out how to get TikTok. They gave me the access to be able to do this, but it wouldn't send me the link. So I couldn't get TikTok all in one. But eventually I'm going to be able to do all from one. I am getting fancy now. This is amazing. Can't hang at a concert. Good luck with the new stream service. Appreciate you, Trisha. Thanks for stopping in. Do you measure jackets? Yes, same thing. Pit to pit, shoulder to shoulder, top to bottom on jackets. I'm going to watch all three streams at the same time. Dedication. I like that, Joel. Make sure you like them all. Make sure you follow them all that good stuff. It is pretty cool. I like this. I just sold a pair of Hokas on Facebook. What is up with Facebook? Now, am I going to have to start listening to Facebook all of a sudden again? Things are selling again on
I just
told
everybody how we don't sell on Facebook.
I know. And now I'm selling stuff on Facebook. So pretty crazy. Appreciate everybody hopping in tonight. If you're new, make sure you hit the like button, tap the screen, hit the follow button. Depends on where you're watching from. Now it's going to be confusing. I can't tell people how to follow. I got to say all of them at once. Definitely tap the screen. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. We're going to get some listings done. I'm just hanging out trying to figure out this whole streaming stuff. Can everybody see the comments or only you? Only I can see the comments on my side. It's pretty cool, too, because I can actually invite people into my stream. So if I wanted to stream with Chris, and I don't know if he needs the service. I think I send him the link, and he can come in, and then we can chat to each other while we're streaming, too. So if we're doing like a podcast, we can chat to each other. It's pretty cool. Do you clean items before you sell them? The only time I clean items if they have stains or bad smells. That's it. You won't invite me? I don't know how, Chris. Oh, it says, hold on. Hold on, let me see. Copy. How do I send this to you, though? I guess I would have to send it on Instagram, right? Hold on. Chris, don't make me go through this and then you don't accept. ChrisatPeak. Yeah, that's where I want to send it to. There we go. Boom. I just sent it. You just asked me how to send it. I was asking, I don't know how to send it, Chris. I'm learning. What's up, Sassy? What's up, Flippin' Nurse? You like Bad Bunny? I don't know Spanish, so I like how it sounds, but I just don't know what they're saying. So I got to go. Yeah, if you have to go to IG, I can't link it here, Chris. How am I going to do that? Everybody will click the link. I have to keep it between me and you. But you go on IG, and then it's going to open a link on your computer. So you need to do it, I think, on your computer. I'm pretty sure it's got to be done on your computer. Mac, you're sleeping already. I can't handle this. Listen, Chris Stapleton all at the same time. Who is Chris Stapleton? You know who Chris Stapleton is? I don't know either. All right. I've already done 8 listings today. Today was like kind of a social media day. We took some video of the haul that we got. If you guys haven't seen, all of that stuff is from the haul from this past weekend. We got a bunch of stuff from Red, White, and Blue, and Miami. A bunch of really good items. So those are all being listed over the next few days. Chris Stapleton is life. I don't know who that is. Tell my friend Joel and Hack. They didn't. I didn't abandon them. I'm here on TikTok. Okay. Mac didn't abandon you guys. Joel and Dusty, she's over on TikTok. She abandoned you for TikTok. What's up, all this and all that? Did you just ask Chris who? Did you ask Chris Stapleton is? Yeah, I don't know who that is. Is that bad? When listing skirts, how do you hang them? I do them with this hanger right here. I just take this hanger and we hang them both sides. And then I try to, when I take the photos, I try to take the photos like here and down so it doesn't show too much of the hanger. But same way I list jeans, I list them that way. Go to the light. Go to the light. It's normally not this bad. I don't know. I think it's because that other light is pretty dull. So it's like making those lights seem really, really bright. That is real bad. I'm sorry. Tennessee Whiskey. I've heard that song before. I guess I kind of know him. What's up? Kitty Cat's over on YouTube. What's up, Kitty Cat? Zero lag on Facebook. Let's go. Yeah, if you guys are lagging on TikTok, go to the other platforms. We're all live all at the same time. So this is pretty cool. I like this crowd of 7. You're on YouTube. Yeah, we got a crowd of 7 over on YouTube right now. We got low watchers on YouTube. I have heard Tennessee Whiskey. I'm not going to try to sing it though because I don't know any of the words. Horizontal won't work on TikTok. Did you just choose horizontal on YouTube? I don't know what I choose. I think I'm on this orientation. Yeah. So on TikTok, it would be the way TikTok will have to work with this app is I'll have a top and a bottom. So I'll have a logo on the bottom and I'll have my video up top. So that's why I don't know if I'm going to do it on this platform just yet. What's your name on Facebook? I'm the same name on all platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Missed my Miami trip. How was it? It was awesome. If you missed the live thrift, the first one we did, my live thrift from my vantage point is up on YouTube right now. So you can rewatch the entire thing. That is up on YouTube. Her live thrift from the second store is probably going to be put up. I don't know if I'm going to put my live thrift from the second store, but I'm definitely putting hers up because she found a lot of excellent items at that second store and I didn't find as much as she did. So that will be up probably on Monday, I think. Because tomorrow we're going to do our normal live thrift here where we live. And that'll be up tomorrow afternoon. So I don't want to put too many live thrifts up like all at the same time. I want to move them around. So I'm supposed to be listing. That's okay. I'm supposed to be listing too. I found that you have to be careful of lights. Your lights may make an item appear one color and the customer's lights may... There are times that people will complain about the colors looking different, but to be honest, there's no way to not have that happen. If I took my photo, the only way to not have that happen is take natural light photos, and I would have to take my photos outside. So the best option for me is to take them under these lights. I mean, customers are going to complain either way. There's no real way to work around that. says you can list 1,000 items on eBay for a month, but if the next month it says the same, but all the past months relist, would you have to pay listings fees for all of them if you went ahead and listed another 1,000, right? So if you have 1,000 items and nothing sells, that next month, those 1,000 items move over and they get relisted. That takes up your 1,000. So if you start listing items after that, yes, you'll have to pay insertion fees after that. But most of the time you sell enough items so you can just get around that. And if you do for some reason, you're listing more than you're selling and you're going over that 1,000, I would either stay where you're at, figure out math-wise whether it makes sense to go to the bigger store, or just buy the bigger store. You don't have to worry about it. Do you have a stream on MySpace? Yeah, I'm also live on MySpace too. If anybody wants to be in my top 5, is it top 5 or top 10?
I thought it was top 8.
Top 8. If anybody wants to be in my top 8, you got to let me know. It's wide open right now. I just opened up MySpace again. I reckon Lil Mac will work on a jean hanger. The reason Trisha hasn't made a jean hanger yet is because there's no real need for a jean hanger. There is a need for the flat lay hanger, but the jean hanger, there's no real need for that. I better be, Jen, you're definitely not in my top 8. Unless I have a top 8 hated people, you'll make that cut. I love messing with Jen. It's so much fun. Options on selling on Depop. I don't sell on Depop, so I don't have any. That's not a question for me. I don't sell on Depop. Random Markdown. What's up? Nice live on Facebook. Yes, we're finally back on Facebook. I know you Facebook peeps have been missing. I have so many people that have messaged me over the last 2 months since I left Facebook. And it's like, when are you going to come back to Facebook? And this is the way I can do it. I can be live on all platforms all at once. So does MySpace still exist? It probably does. Okay, we're going to stop messing around. We're going to get some work done. So you guys are going to see, I have a little bit of a different angle today than I normally do. I'll probably stick with this angle because that way I can do all of these at once. If I ever do streams at night where it's just TikTok, then I'll take you guys and move you back to the normal angles. But what I'll do is I'll go over the items that I'm listing. I'll go over there, take photos really quick, and we'll come back and we will chat about it for a little bit. I still have Gucci wallpaper on MySpace. I don't even know what my MySpace, I don't even know if my MySpace still exists. Facebook, I can't hit the arrow on top left and scroll while I chat. You can hit the arrow on top left while you scroll while I chat. Okay, cool. Finally got paid for my first sale tonight. Thank you guys so much for your help. That's awesome. Let's go. I think Chris got lost. I think he did. I sent him the link, and Chris's
somebody else's by accident.
Chris's initials are CAP. So you guys got to understand when Chris says he's going to join, he's probably capping. That's his initial. Wait, he's here. Wait, he's here.
The whole time?
Hold on. Watch this, everybody who is watching on all platforms. Boom. You got to mute me though. I can't hear myself twice.
I have no idea if this is working.
It is working. I see you. Can you see me?
Yeah, hold on. I'm on TikTok too. I got to turn this off.
It works.
Oh man, now I'm hearing you twice. This is the worst.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to. You don't even want to hear me once.
Sorry, that was complicated. I had to figure out how the heck to log into Instagram on my computer, which I've never done before, and I can't remember any password to anything, and that was a maze. So anyway, I'm here. Hey, what's up?
He's a rookie, guys. Hold on. Let me. I got to take off my graphic. I don't want my graphic sitting above your head. Pretty cool, Chris. You got to get this. This will work like wonders for you. It's awesome.
It's asking me to do something like add more viewers to the stream, go live on your channels. So I got this big pop-up. I can't see you. I can just see this big pop-up.
I don't know. I don't know. You might be saying that you could go live on your other accounts, but you might have to link them somehow.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is cool. This is kind of neat. Seems like how are we doing with is it lagging? Is there latency? Is there echoing? Nothing? Cool.
Nope. I think I read some reviews and it says comments will come in kind of like TikTok. It'll come in 5 seconds late. So if you're talking to chat, you just got to recognize that it comes in late. But we're already used to that because we're over on TikTok. So we're used to that kind of stuff.
Cool. Well, I guess I'll just jump in. I'll start now that I think this is working. Now I'll start with just some gratitude. Thanks, man, for spending so much time on live. I caught your sleeping live last night, and that was killer. You slept like a rock last night. That was great. And breakfast live was good, but really, all jokes aside, you're live all the time. You're sharing everything that's going on with the business with you and Kayla, and I think that's just really cool. The good, the bad, the ugly, and appreciate that a ton. I know I learned from you.
Appreciate it. Well, I learned a bunch from you. That first time we met, I always tell everybody the first time we met, we went to Salvation Army, and you came down to my area, and we went thrifting together, and you just poured into me for like an hour about social media, all kinds of stuff. So I learned a ton from you. And of course, everybody learns from each other. That's the great thing about this community is we're all learning from everybody all at once. So it's awesome. It is awesome.
That's fun. I see in the chat, Felix is saying K-Way is 7 feet tall, while Chris is 5 feet. I don't know which chat he's in. Oh, I guess that's Facebook chat. Oh, I'm catching on now. I can see like the different chats going on.
Yeah, so I can actually pin comments too. So let's see. I can pin somebody's comment right there, buried in the chat. Hello, everybody. So you guys can see everybody's comments on all the different platforms. And I'm thinking that on Facebook, it's probably showing this too. I hope it is. Maybe Facebook can let me know. Okay. Let's pin a Facebook comment really quick. Boom. There's Facebook comment. Chris is the nicest man on TikTok. He's the GOAT. I agree. Nicest man on TikTok.
I appreciate that. There's definitely some nicer people on TikTok. I would start with, I think Brother Creek Boutique is probably a nicer guy than I am. And I think Jason Hayes is probably the nicest guy on the planet Earth. So I think those.
And then you have Buried Treasure, which is he's on a completely opposite spectrum than all of them.
But you know what? Like, I think he's being generous too by just being straightforward with people and telling them what they need to hear. I think that's generous too.
Yeah,
you awesome. Are taller than me. I got to stand up. I got to be.
It's because I'm using. Are you on your laptop? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get a webcam because I have to raise my desk so high to make this work, and it always my head's always cut off at the top. I guess I could raise it a little bit more. Boom. Now I'm in the center.
So you could probably set it up with a GoPro like Randy was doing last night.
Yeah, I caught some of his live. That was awesome. Those of you on Facebook, I shared his live to my Facebook feed, so you guys can go rewatch it. But Randy has a bunch of knowledge. He's a different space than me and Chris. He does a lot of like collectibles, a lot of like Department 56 stuff like that, and I learned a ton from that guy too.
So this is super interesting. I'm just figuring out now. I was confused for the last several minutes, obviously more confused than normal. The chat's coming in on the top. So it's kind of like piling up instead of like feeding in on the bottom. Is that doing it on your side too? So the freshest chat is up top.
No. So on my side, it's coming in from the bottom. Yours must be coming in from the top. Maybe it's I'm using Apple. I'm using a Mac. So maybe it's because you're using Windows and that's why it's working. It might be.
Did you just accuse me of using Windows? Bro, that's weird. Like right now, Bearded Thrifter's on top right now. I like when Bearded Thrifter's on top. Is that weird?
Oh man, no, that's that. I like it too. I'm in agreement. There's Bearded right there. If you guys aren't following Bearded, there he is right there. He's on every platform. Follow him on every platform. You guys are on TikTok, by the way. You're not seeing this because I can't get TikTok to hook up. I don't know how to get TikTok to hook up. I tried to have him send a link. I guess they have to send me a link. I got to accept the link and do all that other stuff. It's like a bunch of hoops. So if you're missing this, you should be on either YouTube or Facebook. You'd be watching this right now.
There you go. I'd like to hear too. Here's a question to somebody who follows me on Instagram. Am I live on my Instagram account too? Is that what's happening here? Or are we just on?
Kayla's going to look it up right now. You might have to link it. Okay. So that might be the thing that it was asking you, but maybe, yeah, if you link it, you'll probably be live at the same time.
I just freaked out and like clicked a bunch of buttons and hit the X so I could finally see the screen instead of seeing like this modal that had popped up in front of me.
No, he's not live.
No, Kayla said you're not live on Instagram right now. I'm assuming when you get the membership, maybe then you'll be able to. Then when I invite you, you'll go live. We'll invite each other, and then it'll work out that way. I'm assuming.
You're not live yet.
I see something at the top that says add channels. I can kind of fumble with that.
You know what? Check YouTube really quick because I'm not live on Instagram right now. I'm only live on Facebook and YouTube.
You guys are on YouTube.
Oh, so are we on his channel on YouTube?
Let me go check.
Yeah, go check his channel real quick.
So I think I'm going to try clicking some buttons and just see if this works.
This is fun.
It's technology, so I generally mess this up.
Screw doing work tonight. We're just going to play around on live. This is way more fun.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat too, like what's going on in y'all's world too. I'm just always curious. Like how's business? What's happening? Any exciting finds today? Any great sales that are worth reporting to the crew while we're fumbling around with like the technology here?
Yeah, you got to get this for your morning packing lives. I think you would do really good on this because you could go on all platforms all at once. It'd be easy and seamless for you. It didn't take too long to set up. It took me like 10 minutes and I had everything up and running.
Got it. Let me try. Usually anything Facebook or Meta related doesn't cooperate with me. So we'll try if this stuff works here.
Lion Creek is correct. He's saying golf, golf, golf. That's what's selling right now. Everything golf is moving really, really fast. List it if you have it. Angler Pearl Snaps, 6 times for $1. Let's go.
I'm just clicking like, yes, I agree, continue on all these Restream things. So they're probably just like taking control of all these accounts. I'm sure it's fine. I mean, if anyone wants to find out anything about me, it's not really hard to find out at this point.
Yes, sir. Jimmy, you got to explain your new name change. Wiki's blood pressure owner. What does that mean? What is the story behind that one? What was your best sale in the last 24 hours? That's a really good question. Okay, so it says you paired your channels with the stream, so maybe you're live on your channels right now. It says one of your channels is live.
Yeah, I think I connected my I have 4 different Facebook accounts, 2 profiles and 2 pages. So I'm live on one of them. I'm not sure which one, but it looks like it says it's streaming. So hello to Facebook friends, if you can see this.
Yeah, which what you have like a million of these things. I got to figure out which one you're on right now.
That's usually what I do anytime I go on Facebook. I'm like, which account am I on and how did I do this?
There you go.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
We're live on Facebook right now. ChrisatPeak.
Right on.
The third one, not the first or second. You got to go to the third one. That's where you find them.
I don't have my lighting dialed in this current setup. This is kind of like on my shipping table right here. So normally my setup would be like all this way. So I'm all kind of foobar here, but it is what it is.
Mac said she sold the RLX vest. Is that the video you're going to make tomorrow, Mac? Are you going to make the RLX video?
No, she said it was a women's brand.
Oh, it was a women's. Okay. What was my best sale from the last 24 hours? I have to look at this. Let's go. Orders, all orders. $350 hood bumper trunk lid from a Sab. Right, profitable. Just couldn't do it anymore. There you go. The idea why sometimes my final value fee is 12.35% and other times depends on the items you're selling. I think different items have different final value fees. So that's probably what you're seeing. Let's see. What was I sold a suit. I sold a Ralph Lauren suit. That was a pretty good one. That wasn't my most profitable one though.
Like full suit, 2-piece?
No, it was just the jacket. It was a silk wool cashmere blend. I paid $5 for it. Sold for $42 plus shipping.
Awesome, man.
I think you already put it away. That Dixon flannel I showed on my live last night. If you guys were here, it was a women's Dixon flannel. It's called the Forum. I paid $60 for it. I listed it last night and it sold today for $120. That was a nice quick sale. I did pay up for those, but Dixon always sells really well.
Good for you. That's sick.
Carol Ann wants to see Kayla. So there you go.
Hey, Carol Ann.
She's over there just watching the mayhem happen right now.
It's cool to see everything show up on one.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. And it shows me how many people are watching too. So on the top left, I don't know if you see this, Chris, but it shows 60 people watching. I don't know if you can see that or it's just me. Now it just went down to 51. Now that I said it, everybody left.
Bye.
That's funny. No, I don't see any kind of like viewer stats. I'm not sure here. I'm going to try clicking around on some stuff. I'll probably screw something up, but let me try.
Lion Creek says he sold $100 made in USA Levi's. Let's go.
Wow. How about it?
Let's go. Let's see what this is. Found 30 miscellaneous state park patches for $1 at Goodwill, and the bid is up to like $66 already. That's easy money right there. $1.66 on auction.
That's sick.
Erlen says mine has 2 viewers. You must be on. Maybe you're on YouTube. I don't know. It says 60 for me, so I'm gonna go with 60.
You said your TikTok was or wasn't working on your. It is, right?
So I have TikTok running on my phone because to hook it up, you have to apply and then you have to like link your TikTok account and they send you an email. And then I sent the email and never ended up in my inbox. So I don't know.
Got it.
Get it to work.
Yeah. It looks like I'm looking at it right now. I just clicked on it. It looks like there's all these like links that you have to put in here, like URLs.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to, it's the same thing on Instagram. Instagram will give you URLs, and I have access to that. So I could go live on my Instagram right now, but you just copy those codes, you put it in, and it gives access to this platform for you to go live on the other accounts.
What about TikTok? Was that, or sorry, what about YouTube? Was that easy to set up?
Yeah, you just clicked one button and linked to your YouTube, because my YouTube is under my Gmail, so it just links up through my Gmail. And this is this whole platform is linked up through my Gmail. So as soon as I just press the button, it just links right up.
Cool. I'm gonna try it right now and see if that rolls.
You guys ever find something cool that you just can't sell, like you want to keep it? That's a good question. Well, a Kuji sweater. I found a Kuji sweater, and those I don't think I'll ever sell that first one I found, because that like broke the mold for me, and now I'm gonna collecting Kuji sweaters forever. But what about you, Chris? You ever find something that you just can't get rid of? You just collect it, you hold on to it?
I think you probably know the answer to that. I'm not really big on that. I don't get really too hung up on things and stuff unless it's climbing gear, which I don't really find climbing gear out in the wild. But I do keep some stuff, and I hang it up in my closet and I wear it while it's listed. So I found this this Gap Western Pearl Snap shirt on Wednesday, or sorry, today, on Monday. I found a Gap flannel Western Pearl Snap, happens to fit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw this in my closet, and I'm going to, throw it in the wash, throw it in the closet. I'm going to wear this while it's listed. I do that a lot. So like I have a rotating closet of like fresh stuff all the time, and then it sells, and I throw it in the wash and fold it up and push it out. But I don't really hang on to stuff too often.
I was going to guess it was going to be a flannel before you said flannel. I was going to guess like put $100 on the line that Chris only keeps flannels. That's it.
Yeah, no, there probably has been. As I think about it now, there's a lot of my wardrobe has been items that have been listed. Like I just said, like I've listed them high because I'm like, I kind of like this. I want to wear it for a little while, and then I wear it for a little while, and I'm like, I don't even really want to sell this if it sells for $30. I kind of like it more than $30 worth. So I'm just going to pull it down. Like I'll get offers and I'll be like, oh, I forgot that was listed. I'm like, no, so I turn down the offer and I'm like, I'm keeping this thing,
Let's go. Did you end up getting your YouTube linked up? If you do, it'd be super easy to send people from this to YouTube for you. So I was about to shout out your YouTube. If you can get it linked up, then you can go live on there, and I can shoot everybody over there to go give you a follow, because Chris does live thrifts too. Like I just put up a live thrift today. Chris does his too, and he's connected. If you are not following Chris on YouTube, you definitely should, because his live thrifts, he actually edits them. He puts in like little words, little edits. I just take the same video and I just put it up. I'm lazy about it. So Chris's videos are so much better than mine. If you're not following him on YouTube, you should go give him a follow.
I appreciate you saying that a ton. Right. The edits, we'll see how long I can keep doing that, because it takes a lot of time to do all that editing. And and when I run into like technical issues, like I ran in with like one of my last live streams from last Tuesday, it just my editing, it's such a big file. My editing software kept failing when I'm trying to export it, and then uploading it takes forever. Yeah, so we'll see. But I am uploading a YouTube video, a live thrift. I finally got it to export tonight, so it's uploading onto YouTube as we speak.
Here's a good question. All right, Kelly asked, y'all buy good brands even if they're not in style? Saw some wool Burberry pants today, but they were pleated and cuffed. So Chris, would you pick those up? And if you would, what price would you pick them up at?
It's a fun game to play. I can't see the items, so it's like so hard to give you a definitive answer of that. But I think the heart of the question, right, to me sounds like, would you pick it up because it's out of style, because it's pleated and cuffed? And the answer is yes, because people who like what they like, there's people who like things go in and out of style, and they still like what they like. But then what happens is those items get harder for them to find. So if they go to a store, they can't find that pleated cuffed pant anymore because it's out of style, right? Or it's gone to slim fit, right? And they're like, I don't like slim fit. I like what I like. So it becomes harder to find. So those can actually sell better online for those folks because they're addicted to those things. And I think jeans is a great example of that. People all the time tell me like, nobody's buying skinny jeans anymore. But as soon as I say that in any kind of live chat, everybody in the live chat comes in and says, I love my skinny jeans. Like some people will say things like, you can't rip the skinny jeans off my dead body. I love skinny jeans, right? And that's the thing. They become harder to find at the store. So who's got them? K-Way's got them, right? So they're going to go to your store. They're going to go to your Poshmark closet and buy them. Right. So yeah. So to me, I don't worry about the style too much because sometimes the style changing works in your favor.
Yeah. I just sold a pair of pleated Tommy Bahama shorts the other day. I thought those things would never sell, and I had them listed for I think $25, and they sold on Poshmark full price $25. I got them in a bulk buy. I would have never picked them up at a thrift store, but because they were in the bulk buy, I was like, oh, I'll just list these, and they'll probably take a while to sell. And they took, it was probably about 9 months to sell, but they sold full price $25. So that goes to show you, even shorts that are pleated will still sell, and those are super hard to move. I wouldn't pick those up if you want to move them fast, unless you get them super cheap. Like, again, those were in a bulk buy, so I couldn't control what I got. I just got them in bulk buy. I'm like, I'll just go ahead and list them, see what they sell for. $25.
Yep. And here's the thing too, there's always somebody like on the fringes that likes those kind of things, and they can't find them anywhere because they're out of style. I don't know if this is true or not, but something like an item like you're talking about, pleated shorts, makes me think about maybe a frat boy, like a 21-year-old frat boy in college. Like, I feel like they would wear pleated shorts as long as they were short enough. I feel like they'd wear those with a pair of deck shoes, and that would be rad, with like a pocket tee or something. I don't know what that style is, but the people like on the fringes that like that stuff, if it's out of style, it's really hard to find in the stores. So they're going to find it at K-Way Shop and on his Poshmark,
There's Evelyn in the chat right now saying she loves your videos. I love Chris's videos too. I watch his videos all the time.
Always. I don't know if I'm pointing at Evelyn's comment. I think it's down there, but I love Evelyn. She's just awesome. She brings a bunch of positive energy anytime I'm like editing a video and I'm like, this is taking me so long. Like, what am I even doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? And then you get like a nice comment from Evelyn. It's like, cool. All right. This, people are watching this stuff. They care, they're learning, they're taking notes. So appreciate you, Evelyn.
Yep. Carolyn wants to know over on TikTok, what's in my cup? I just have coffee in my cup. Right before I went live, Kayla was on her live and I was like getting sleepy. So I'm like, I got to drink some coffee. I got to stay awake. And luckily I did, because this is awesome, because we're testing out some new software tonight. We got Darren also asking, how can you tell if Coogee South Pole jeans are vintage tags? So normally you look at the tags. A lot of brands that are made in the USA will be vintage, but it really depends on the brand, and you got to do research with that kind of stuff. So like some Coogee tags will have different lettering, different font, and that'll date it back further. For example, Levi's jeans made in USA are almost always vintage. There are some, I think, that are currently made in the USA that are like high dollar jeans. But for most of them, they're going to be made in the USA. They're going to be vintage. And now that we're in, 2023, 2003 is technically vintage. So those are not made in the USA, but on the back of the tag, there'll be a date stamp on the back of the tag. With South Pole, I don't really know. Do you know how to look up South Pole jeans to see if they're vintage or not? I have no clue.
And it just comes down to, with any of those things, is you got to put your research in. There's no like blanket, like here's what to look for on all jeans, all brands. You got to learn each brand individually. Like Wrangler is different than Levi's, and you're looking for different, there's different, each brand has a whole bunch of different tags, and each tag has certain things that you're looking for. So it just takes a little bit of time, but it's all this information is readily available for free. So I don't want to say that to discourage people, but just go on YouTube, or go on Google and start searching and find creators that seem like they know what they're talking about Levi's or Wrangler or South Pole. You'll find them out there.
Yep.
And people have that information. I'm like UK-Way. I'm a little bit more of a jack of all trades. So I often defer to people. Today, somebody was asking in the Facebook group about a pair of Levi's corduroys. And I'm like, I know a little bit about Levi's, but the the example she had, I'm like, I just don't know. So I I connected her with Nick Smith from Global Vintage, because I know Nick knows way more about Levi's than I do. And like in 2 seconds, he was like, those are 1978 corduroys. Nice find. Like literally in 2 seconds, I was in my live. I made that introduction. He like went and looked at the photos on Facebook. He came back right in. He's like, 1978. Boom. There you go.
That's crazy.
So all the information's out there. I've just never really felt like deep diving into any of the brands and figuring out. I just know some of the like little check markers to look for. And then when I get those items home, if I need to, I'll deep dive into it.
Yep. There's also Facebook groups too. That's a really good source. Like you can just type in vintage Levi's into Facebook groups, and there's probably like 10 or 15 groups, and you just go into there, ask your question real quick. And there are people that love that kind of stuff. So they love to answer those questions. They'll love to be like, hey, 1974, just like that guy said, boom, this is the Levi's. This is the one you're looking at. I'll show you pictures. Facebook's really good for that too, because they can screenshot stuff and just send it over to you, and you'll see they match up perfectly. It's the same exact pair that you have. So just go on Facebook groups. That's if you're ever looking for some information, Facebook groups is a really good source for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's a great group on Facebook called Levi's Denim Research Group. Levi's Denim Research Group. And I think there's other ones too. I just searched. There's a whole bunch of them, but that's the one that I'm a part of. and that I've turned to for advice in the past.
So Tina is asking, can you see this message? I'm on Chris' page. Yes, I can see all the messages. So on my end, it says paired. And whenever you comment on somebody else's page, it just says paired. So I can see Destiny also commented on Chris's page. I can also see if you're commenting on Facebook versus YouTube, it has little pictures next to it. It shows YouTube, shows Facebook. So I know which platform you're commenting on, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool the way they have this set up.
Yeah, very cool. It's actually, it's a little slicker than I thought. I tend to be a little skeptical about new technologies, and I'm like, oh, here we go. What's going to be weird about this? But it's actually pretty slick, even for this old head over here. I'm like, this is pretty intuitive. It's
like I said, it took me probably 10 minutes to set up everything. And then after that, I went in and added my graphics. So you can add like your logos, you can put them in different places. You can even make like borders. So if you have like, let's say Monday's your shipping day is the only day you do your live for shipping, you can have like a border that says Monday shipping day, and I'll have all the little graphics for it. So people know that this is your Monday shipping day live. So I'm planning to make like graphics and stuff like that here in the near future, but it was really easy to set up.
So is there a price tag to all this stuff?
There's 3 different price points there. I bought the $19 one, which comes with this. I think I can link 6 people. The only difference is it's not 1080p. So obviously the stream quality doesn't come in 1080p. If you want the 1080p version, I think that's $41 per month. I think it is something like that. It's like $41 per month, or it's $41 if you buy the yearly subscription. So I just went with the $19 one for now to test it out, and I'll probably up it later on and see how it is. But it's pretty cool. Like nice. I can set up, like I can put you in the corner. I can do like this, put you over there, like musical chairs, and I put you right back.
That's interesting. That's super fun.
Super easy.
It reminds me of what's that? StreamYard. It reminds me of StreamYard for YouTube streams, but I think that's specifically for YouTube. I don't know if it does other things.
Felix asked, "Can I do 2 cameras?" I believe I can. If I link up the camera, I think I can use 2 cameras at once. I'm planning to do lives over on YouTube and Facebook of like using List Perfectly. So I get a lot of people asking me about List Perfectly. I can literally share my entire screen. I'll put my camera off to the side and you guys can watch me cross list like 30 items in 30 minutes or something like that. Or I'll try to make like a challenge so you guys can see how that works. And that'll, determine whether you guys go and purchase that kind of stuff. I'm also working with Autoposher. I will have a discount code here by the end of the night, and that'll be up in my bio. And I can show you guys how Autoposher works too, because it's a pretty cool platform. I haven't had to share my Poshmark closet. It's been sending out offers for me, and it's been delisting and relisting on Mercari. And there, hopefully, very, very soon, we'll have some eBay functions going into that platform too, which is big for me. Once I heard about that, she kind of gave me the lowdown about it. I'm not going to share too much. But when that comes, I think it's going to be an absolute game changer. So that code should be available tonight at some point. I might make a post on my Instagram or Facebook, and then I'll talk about it tomorrow morning on my live too. So for those of you who've been looking for that discount code, that will be available hopefully by tonight, if not tomorrow morning for sure. Let's see, who else do we have in chat right now? So the flag by your name on Facebook means a K-Way subscriber. I have no clue. This is my first Facebook stream in like 3 months. Chris, do you do Facebook streams, or you're just on YouTube?
I don't, and you've probably heard me say this before with my Facebook account. It's super, super funky. So my profile, I have 39,000 followers, and if I go live stream on there, there'll be 2 people in there. It'll be Trisha and my sister.
Yeah.
And then like it doesn't, for some reason, there's just something really weird with that account. Like things just don't go out. Like explain to me how I can go live for 45 minutes and have 39,000 followers and 2 people in a live stream. Like there's just there's a disconnect.
Yeah. I wish both Facebook and YouTube kind of worked a little bit similar to TikTok, where it kind of pushed you out to, other people rather than just your subscribers. And I do get like a couple people on YouTube every now and then will pop in and say, hey, I'm just watching you for the first time. But on Facebook, like you said, it never happens. Like you got to grow that on the outside with your photos and your reels, and then you got to suck those people into your lives. And I think live space, to be honest, is the best for growth. So if they would just switch their algorithm up just a little bit, and just a little bit of inflow from just normal people just scrolling through Facebook, and your live just pops up on their feed and they're like, hey, who's this random guy? And they click on it. That would be awesome. But I don't know. They need to learn a little bit from TikTok when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty confident that those things will change as we move forward, because I just see the culture around live changing pretty dramatically. Like even somebody, an old head like me, who's just skeptical of technology and social media. I have friends that are on here on live. I've never met them in person, but I feel like I know them really well, and the connections from doing the live are pretty powerful. And I know that people are just kind of scrolling through the lives and just spending their day with lives instead of watching TV and that sort of thing. So I have a strong feeling that the other platforms, look, it's a copycat world in business, right? And they're going to see TikTok, these lives are really big, and they're keeping people in the app. And that's what these platforms want to do. They want to keep people in the app. The longer that people are in the app, the more that they can charge for marketing, and the more marketing and ads they can put in front of people. So it's super powerful to keep people in the app. These lives are long, right? So if somebody's in a live for an hour, that's super powerful for TikTok. It's also going to be super powerful for YouTube, for Facebook and Instagram too. So I think they'll be following suit here pretty quickly. There's too much money on the line.
Yeah, I do like Facebook and YouTube. Not that I don't like TikTok, of course, but Facebook and YouTube, because they download the lives and they're available right afterwards. So you can literally, if you missed any part of this live, if you want to go rewatch it right after I'm done, you can go rewatch it immediately. Whereas TikTok, once it's gone, it's gone. Unless I download it and put it to another platform, it's gone forever. So I have so many lives on TikTok that I just have too many. I go live every single day, twice a day. I can't put those on every platform. But if, I did this on YouTube and Facebook, automatically does it for me, and I don't have to worry about posting it. So that's one benefit to these two platforms.
That's a super good point, because I do watch some of your like shipping lives. I'll watch them and it will say streamed like 58 minutes ago because I missed it, right? And then I can still click on it, and it's basically the same experience as if I was watching it live. I just can't chat with you, but I can see the chats coming in. It's the same thing. So it's pretty slick. And I have a feeling that TikTok will get there too, because when TikTok first came out with lives, there was no way to record them. Like there was no replays available. So you couldn't download the replay. And that was the case for like more than a year. The replays were actually pretty new. So I have a feeling that's probably like the next part of the evolution, is being able to then take lives, which they know are sticky and keeping people in the app. Why not do the same thing that Facebook does, right? And roll that in so that people can watch it right afterwards if they missed it. So I have a feeling that that's coming too. I don't have inside information. I don't know Mr. TikTok. But it just seemed when there's that much money on the line, it's pretty obvious like what moves companies are going to make next.
Darren has a good question. I don't know if you've ever done one before, but do either of you guys do Poshmark or eBay meetups? I've never been to one, but I do want to try to go to one this year. I know Harry Tornado does like a big meetup. I think he does it in South Carolina, so it's not too far of a drive for me. I want to go to that one. I don't know what he calls it. It's like a reseller con or something like that. He did one, the very first one last year, and I missed out on it. Everybody was asking me, are you going to go? Are you going to go? And I decided not to. And this year I definitely want to try to make a trip up there just to meet, YouTubers and people on Facebook and people on TikTok, and like connect with them. And what's the word I'm looking for? Not connect, but socialize. There's another word for it. I forget the word. I'm trying to think of it. But just to connect with those people and just talk to them and get to know them a little bit better and make those connections and move on, and maybe be able to have them on videos and stuff like that, because that's like huge. That's really big.
I think the word you were looking for is canoodle.
Network. That's the word I was looking for. Canoodle. Yes, I was looking to canoodle with them.
It's a better word. I mean, objectively.
When?
There's also a reseller rally. It's already sold out, so don't bother Googling it. But there's a reseller rally that's hosted by those cats, Cincinnati Picker. What's the rest of that crew? Garage Flips. I think that's like that whole little crew puts together that reseller rally, but it's already sold out. I think it's September.
Yeah, I definitely want to make to at least one. And it's cool. You can go there. I don't really think I'm going to thrift there, because there's going to be so many people thrifting already in that same area that I don't think you're ever going to find anything. But it'd just be cool to network with those people and talk.
I don't know. Maybe I like to puff up my chest when I see other resellers in the Goodwill. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go right behind this reseller, and I'm going to find some fire that they're going to.
That's what he did when I went thrifting with him. His chest. I saw his chest get all puffed up, and he walked right behind me, and he started pulling stuff off the rack. It was really annoying.
But you know what? I honestly don't see a lot of resellers when I go in, or at least not obvious resellers when I go into the local thrift stores around here. Every now and again, but it's rare, and I don't think they're big time because they don't have much stuff in their carts. So.
Right. Have you? I know you've spoken to me about this before, off platform too, about your thrift stores in your area. I've been to your area, and I know like the Goodwills are not as good as Florida Goodwills. Florida Goodwills are amazing. Have you ever thought about making a like once a month trip, like out of state, like an hour and a half away, driving somewhere else and seeing how the stores are there, and then maybe like switching up your sourcing patterns to maybe make that trip once a month?
Absolutely. And I'll first start by pushing back a little bit too. When you say like you've been to my area, you've been to, I think, Raleigh, Durham, which is a solid 4 hours away. So, and that's a whole different, that's a different Goodwill region. They're managed by different people and stuff. So it's very different, right? If I went to Charlotte on a regular basis, which is a city of a metro population similar to Tampa, I'd probably do better because there's more people and there's a higher concentration of wealth because there's a lot of work there too. So I'm sure in some ways it would operate really similarly to what I was used to in Denver and Tampa, because the metro area is pretty similar. The demographics are pretty similar. The money's pretty similar. So I don't think it would be as good as Tampa, but you see what I mean? So anyway, I'm just pushing back on the idea, like, you've been to North Carolina, so you know what thrifting is like in Asheville. No, it's different here. It's a very small metro area. Asheville's 85,000 people, and that's the biggest city. Everything else is like 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then like 500 people, right? So like Buncombe County is just a really small county. You're talking about Metro Denver is, I think, what is it, 2.7 million people? I have to double check my math on that. When I lived in Denver, it's 2.9 million people in the metro area. There's nothing like that here. So it's very different. But yes, the second part of your question, yeah, I've thought about moving around. When I go out to Winston-Salem, which I do every 6 weeks, I go thrift shopping when I'm out there. And it's definitely a bigger metro area out there. Not big like Tampa or Charlotte, but bigger. But yeah, I've thought a lot about doing some of those trips too. But I kind of like being home too.
Yeah,
kind of
same.
Work from home. Kim works from home. I kind of like being around here, but I think as we'll settle in, we'll try some of that stuff. But honestly, Asheville is really rad. And we just moved back 6 months ago. So I kind of like spending my time here in the mountains. You kind of got to drag me out of the mountains at this point.
Yeah, the hard thing about long thrift trips too is they have to be worth it. So if you drive an hour and a half away and you only find 20 items, then you just wasted money because of the drive there, the wasted time that you took. So you really got to make sure it's good. So you almost have to scout the area out beforehand to figure out if it's going to be a good stop or not.
Sure. And for me, I'm okay with that because it's also an investment in the education piece of it too, the education arm or the entertainment arm, if you will, right? It's good for the TV part. It's good to share with people and show people what different cities look like. And I think people enjoy watching that sort of stuff. So yeah, to me, it's a little bit of an education piece too. So I don't really care about the cost of it so much, but yeah, I'd have to go at least 2 hours to Charlotte. And so we're already talking about a 4-hour drive if I'm going to do like a round trip sort of situation. So then it becomes hotel and all that stuff if I'm going any farther. So
right. Tej wants me to ask you, did you get a job at Goodwill today?
I applied, man. I'm actually not going to put today's live thrift up on YouTube, not because it wasn't a good day. I left Goodwill with 2 items. It's a store that sometimes I'll leave with 8 and sometimes I'll leave with 25, but most of the time it's something like 12 or 14 items from that store. I left with 2. And I realized on the live, you know how I can get on rants sometimes. I realized on the live I would ranted a lot about Goodwill of Northwest North Carolina, about how that store was really empty. It wasn't stocked at all. I mean, there was literally people who were in the live, they've heard me say this, but I'm like, you could put 80 suit jackets on this rack in this empty space. You could put 150 shirts on this rack in this empty space. I cleared it out. I'm like, look at how much space this is. This is crazy. But they're paying the rent. They're paying the utilities, right? The air conditioning and the lights. They're paying their staff, but they don't have all this stuff out here. And I know it's all in the back room. So I was kind of ranting a little bit. So I'm not going to put that live up, but this live will probably be up. So I'm probably just shooting myself in the foot. But I don't want anyone to think I'm speaking ill of anybody because, TikTok lives, people jump in, they jump out, they don't hear the whole story. The other part of the story is it's really hard to find and hire people right now. The labor market's really, really challenging still. So Goodwill, they're just understaffed. I know the manager is a nice person, probably really smart, savvy person, but she's probably allowed to spend $12 an hour on staff, and nobody's taking nobody's applying, right? There's no help coming in the door. So that's why it's empty. It just wasn't stocked at all. I also was complaining a little bit about the fact that they don't do sales, which I don't want inventory cheaper. That's not why I want sales. I want sales. I want to get rid of that old inventory that's been sitting there for months. I see the same shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I saw the shirt 2 months ago, and I saw it 6 weeks ago. I saw it 5 weeks ago. I saw it 3 weeks ago. I saw it 2 weeks ago. No one's buying it for $4.99. Put it 50% off, get $250, and then open up the space. So I was doing a lot of ranting and raving. So I was like, I'm not going to put this live up because I don't want somebody to watch it and get the wrong idea or something.
I talked about this a little bit on my live last night. I ranted a little bit about Goodwill too. So here's my thought process. I go to Red, White, and Blue. Red, White, and Blue is amazing, and their prices are lower than Goodwill. And they actually buy their inventory. They actually say it on the wall in the stores. I haven't noticed it in our stores, but when we went to Miami, it has a placard on the wall that says they buy their inventory, whereas Goodwill gets their inventory for free. Obviously, they have to pay to have it shipped around, whatnot. But still, the prices at a store that pays for the inventory is less. And they actually run sales, and their shelves are full. And I'm sure they're not paying their employees an exorbitant amount more than Goodwill is paying. They're probably around the same, getting around the same pay. But yet Red, White, and Blue is constantly stocking their shelves all day long. Like you walk in there and they have 6 racks in the morning, and they have 6 employees stocking those shelves. Within 15 minutes, another 6 racks come out, and it's just a constant flow. And I don't understand why Goodwill can't have that happen. And I, like you said, that maybe it's, hiring, but Red, White, and Blue can't pay their employees more than Goodwill pays theirs, maybe a little bit more, but they're able to keep those employees and keep them stocking all day long. So it doesn't make sense to me. I'm thinking Goodwill is a more of, wholesaling it off to other thrift stores, maybe in the background that we're not seeing. So they don't really care about how stocked their shelves are because they're making more money behind the scenes. Obviously, they're putting stuff online, but even the stuff online, I don't see that stuff selling super fast because they're putting up like Michael Kors shirts for like $35. And we all know those aren't going to sell, but those are on their website. And, you can buy them right now for $35. I can't understand. I can't put my finger on it why Goodwill can't run their store even better than a store like Red, White, and Blue. There should be better sales, cheaper prices, all that stuff running out of Goodwill. But Red, White, and Blue is, I think, to be honest, everybody says competition. It's competition. Goodwill is raising their prices because of competition. I think Goodwill is going to start lowering their prices because a store like Red, White, and Blue is now opening store after store after store, and their prices are lower, which is going to give Goodwill more competition and force them to lower their prices probably within the next few years. It's not going to be tomorrow that this is going to happen, but it's definitely going to happen within the next few years because, more people are going to start going to Red, White, and Blue, even resellers, normal people going Red, White, and Blue to get their inventory and getting their stuff that they're actually going to wear.
Sure. Yeah. First, I just want to say, Lynn said, Chris, have you been to Mega Thrift in Winston-Salem? Yeah, I like Mega Thrift. The prices are high. It's a for-profit thrift store, but I can find some good stuff there. Like I can pay up and get some quality inventory because it's overpriced for someone who's just going in there to buy a shirt to cover their torso, right? But I'll pay $9 for it if I can sell it for $50. I didn't go this weekend when I was out in Winston-Salem because Snapdabble went there on Thursday and I was going on Saturday. So I'm like, I know she just, she's smart. She knows her stuff. I know she cleaned out the whole store and bought all the good stuff. But to your point about Goodwill, what was happening today, like in today's microcosm, and it was hard for other people to see on the live because the live you see like this little, 3.5 feet section right here. But what was happening is the person who was stocking kept getting called to like open the fitting room, to go up back to get this thing, to help out at the front desk. The manager was running the cash register. So the person who was like supposed to be stocking like all the stuff was just getting pulled all over the place. I think the whole time I was there, she probably stocked like 1.5 rolling racks worth of stuff. When if she wasn't distracted all over the place, she probably could have done like 5 racks. Right. But it was just, they're just like glaringly understaffed. I think that's what's going on there. But I also say, hey, it's your responsibility as a business, especially a corporate business with all that like corporate might, figure it out. Yep. If I was running a business and it was based on staffing and I was understaffed and it was hurting my bottom line, I'd figure it out. What do I have to do? Do I have to offer better benefits? Do I have to offer like training or something, a lot of these companies now, the big thing to do is to offer college perks or career course training stuff so people can level up and even leave your organization. Do I have to pay more? Do I have to hire managers to take better care of people? What do I have to do to figure out this problem? The staffing issue is way too old to just say like, well, the labor market sucks. There's nothing we can do about it. No, this has been, I mean, we're 3 years into the COVID labor market. No more excuses. You had 3 years to figure it out, and you're a big corporate entity. All that being said, I'm a fan of Goodwill. There's a lot of people who don't like Goodwill and like to slam the fact that the CEO makes a lot of money. Good luck finding a CEO for cheaper than that, by the way. I mean, this is a huge organization with thousands of stores, and they also have these career center pieces. They have a whole, marketing and fundraising arms. You want to get a CEO to run that, you're going to have to pay. You have to pay market value for CEOs. Just because it's a nonprofit doesn't mean you don't have to pay market value for CEOs. I mean, that's just the reality of the whole thing. It's just supply and demand for CEOs. It's the same as anything else. But I've also worked with the Career Center and partnered with the Career Center here in Asheville when I worked at UNCA and the Career Center. So I'm familiar with the career training they do and the career support they do. And it's real and it's helpful and it makes a difference in people's lives and it's transformative. So I am actually, I respect Goodwill. That said, I can still critique them. Yep. They can still get better. And I think that's all I want is I want them to get better. I actually said, like, look, I would invite leadership from Goodwill of Northwestern North Carolina to come on live and talk and answer some questions. And I wouldn't grill them. I wouldn't want to embarrass them. That's not what it would be about. It would be to understand their business a little bit better so that people like us who are their best buyers, who are spending the most amount of money, their biggest customers, so we can understand them and maybe they can understand us a little bit too. We're not just looking for stuff for cheaper, for like $1. We want things like, hey, just stock this place. Yeah. I'm fine with $4.99 a shirt. That's great. Just keep it stocked. I can't, I need to come in here and have 3 times as much inventory as you have in here. And then instead of me walking with 2 items, I would have walked with 25.
Yep.
Do a sale once a week or once a month. Clear out all that old stuff. Do a $1 sale on old tags. Get rid of it. So the fresh inventory comes in. I'll pay you $4.99 all day for that stuff. You know.
I got John over on TikTok said, my red, white, and blue is more expensive than Goodwill. I will agree with that. My red, white, and blue is more expensive than Goodwill, but the thing is they run 50% off tags every single week. So, jeans at Goodwill are priced at it's like $8 a piece. Red, white, and blue, $10 a piece. The very next week, they're $5 a piece. The same ones that were 10 are now 5. So therefore, if you're picking up those discounted tags, in most cases, you're going to get them for less money.
Yep. And yeah, Felix is in the chat and he says, hey, Goodwill's a regional and some are better than others and his is good. And that's awesome. And there are a lot of good. I'm not saying mine's bad. Mine is good. There's just some things that they can do better. And one of them is get more people to take the stuff from the back room and put it in the front room because you can't make money off the stuff that's not for sale. I'll go back there if you let me. I'll go buy the stuff back there, but they don't let you go back there. You got to put it out in the racks. You're not making money. You're just air conditioning an empty room. So that people like me can hang out and leave and spend $10.95. I'd go and spend $595 if you had enough stuff out there for me to buy, but it's just not out there. That's all I'm saying. I respect the organization more than probably a lot of people do. And I just think that there's some things locally that they can do better. And a tag sale and hiring more staff is not asking for too much. I don't want the tag sale to get stuff cheap. I want a tag sale to get the junk, to get George in Goodfellow, in Sonoma, in Morona out the door and clears out space for stuff.
Yeah, 100%. He did say too, Felix said smaller town, less inventory. Well, the way they can help manage that too is they could just ship items down either by trucks or whatever to get that new inventory to those stores. The same thing Red, White, and Blue does. They literally ship their inventory down to the stores here. That's why you see North Face and Patagonia and Marmot all down here in Florida. That's not coming from Florida. There's nobody that wears those brands here except for 3 days out of the year when it's cold. So that's all coming from up north. So if they just ship that stuff down, just like Red, White, and Blue does, they'll have all that really good inventory. Obviously, they'll probably, ship those to bigger locations that have more customers at those locations. They'll prioritize those first, but they can still move that inventory around. Again, they get the inventory for free, whereas Red, White, and Blue has to pay for the inventory. So they're already a little bit higher cost than Goodwill is. All the Goodwill has to do is just ship it around. And they have trucks. I mean, there's stores here in Florida that I see the trucks parked in the back that they're moving all that inventory around. So they have the logistics. They just need to get it done.
Yep, Southern Treasure's in the chat right there. She's like, look, the local Goodwills here are $7.99 for stuff. And they do a Monday 125 sales, and that clears out all that stuff. And she can get some deals on stuff that, that's great. I know she did a video today. She got some $1.25 stuff, but that's not just what it's about, is getting the $1.25 stuff. It's buying stuff for $7.99 after the $1.25 Sonomas and Goodfellas got cleared out of there.
Yep. Yeah, I see her videos all the time. I'm like, I wish in this area they had dollar days and stuff like that. I haven't seen a dollar day in any thrift store in Florida like ever in this area. I think if you go northern Florida, I think Surf's Up stopped at one of the Goodwills up north, and they had all the same items were all the same prices. And I'm like, man, that's one area in Goodwill. I guess one area in Florida that they do that, because here there is nothing like that. I know when I went to I think it was either Tennessee or North Carolina, they had, like you have in your stores, like everything's like $4.99 a piece on this rack. That was the first time I ever saw that. Here in Florida, they don't do that. They price everything differently.
Right. And Mickey's asking about Goodwill bins. And I think this is an important point about Goodwill bins. And I know that your sister would attest to this. There's a lot of stuff that goes to Goodwill bins that never makes it to the retail floor at a Goodwill store. It never gets price tagged at $4.99 or $8.99 or whatever. It's literally going to a back room of a Goodwill retail store where it gets donated, and they don't have enough room on the floor or enough staff to get it out there. So they just ship it straight to bins. So that's where some of the inventory is going to the bins. The other is actually stuff that got tagged. It sat out there on the floor for 2 months. Then they pay somebody to go take all those items back off the rack, and then put them back into the back room, and then load them into a car, and then drive them over to the bins, right? So again, it comes down to like, what's smarter here? Just price these things down after a week. Sure, price it at, I don't care if you price it at $25 at week 1. Go ahead, swing for the fences, great. But if it doesn't sell, you got to get that thing down. You got to get that price down really quick, because if it didn't sell for a week, it's not going to sell in the second week or the third week and all that stuff. So the bins, and then after the bins, I think the other part of the question there was, yeah, it goes into the trash. It goes into the dump. It's going into one of those big islands that you see those ugly pictures of just trash and junk. And that's what it is. It's going to the landfill. It's over.
Felix says he has a secret place that does dollar tag once a week. So anybody who's around Felix it's Humphrey, my bad. I thought that was Felix. Humphrey has a place around him that does dollar tags once a week. And Humphrey lives close to me. So I got to figure out where that place is, Humphrey. Maybe I'll meet you there once a week. I'll be right at the door. You'll see K-Way just standing there. I'll wear one of my Coogee sweaters, and you'll just like see me stand there like, dang it, K-Way figured out the place. Now I'll never find anything here. But yeah, dollar tag once a week. I didn't know they had those in Florida. That's pretty great.
Well, and just to emphasize the point about how valuable that sales are, and it's not just about getting stuff cheap. K-Way, your whole method for Salvation Army in Florida was to go on Tuesday when the sale was on Wednesday, because you wanted to get the good stuff. And the benefit was that Wednesday clears out a whole bunch of clothes. So they're stocking Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to get ready for their big sale day where everyone comes in for half off clothing. So then everyone buys all that stuff on Wednesday and gets rid of all the stuff. And then they got to stock the whole rest of the week and get fresh inventory out onto the floor. So K-Way goes in on Tuesday, the high price day, and pays full price for the stuff, right? And that shows you the value of the sale day beyond just getting stuff cheap. It's just getting stuff to move. That's so important.
Yeah, a lot of people will avoid those days strictly because they know the next day is going to have, everything's going to be half off. Why would you go Tuesday? Well, I don't mind paying up a little bit more and avoiding those crowds, because I'm going to get a lot less inventory if I go Wednesday, and I'm going to have to deal with a lot more people. So I'd rather just go Wednesday, pay a little bit more, and get enough inventory for me to be able to list that day, even though we have tons of inventory. But that's one reason we haven't gone back to Salvation Armies, because we just have so much inventory from red, white, and blue. But yeah, go the day before those big sale days, or just go the day before and scout it out and see where all the good stuff is. So the next day when you go on those sales days, you can just right through the racks, where everything is. You could be the person that takes the stuff and puts it off in the corner, and you'll know exactly where it is. You just grab the whole handful and go. You could be that guy. I normally don't. I go the day before. I don't worry about the sale days. If the item is a good item, if the item is a good
You ever found those stashes? Like people hang stuff. It's like not on like the hanger. They like hang it on like the structure of the rack. If that makes sense. Like it's
Or
kind
they
of
go
down
through the
below.
suits and they'll hang it, like they'll put it into one of the suit jackets and like hide it in there, and you're like going through the suits and you're like, what is this random thing just chilling in here? But yeah, there was at Red, White, and Blue, one of my followers, he was right next to me and we were talking. And he was going through the racks, and on the inside of the rack, there's another bar. And on that bar, there was like 4 Tommy Bahama shirts just hanging on that bar, but you couldn't see it unless you move the stuff and saw the Tommy Bahama shirts behind.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like the hidden
Yeah.
bar. It's like the structure of the rack. It's not the rack itself, right? It's like the structure down below that little bar. I used to see that a lot at Salvation Army. I was like,
Each their
thanks.
own.
Now I know your stashes, and I loved when people would hide it in the suits and blazers because I'm like, that's my jam is the suits and blazers. I'm looking at all this stuff, so thanks. You're putting it right in my wheelhouse.
Exactly.
You know?
Or you find the women's stash that's in the men's section. You know they're not going to sell because they're in the men's section, so they know that the next day, even if they don't get there on time, they'll still be able to pick all that stuff out and sell it. So
honestly, I think that's actually a pretty good strategy there. The last thing I'm going to say about the Goodwill of Northwest North Carolina is somebody. Oh, I just lost my point. How about that? I just had it.
it'll come back. Don't worry, it'll come back.
I just had it, and it was about this. It was about the sale thing. Oh, the whole idea of thrift stores. The whole idea of it is people want to go and they want to find a bargain. These are bargain people. So the idea of having a sale at a thrift store is actually like really like going out to your core customer, your client base, the people who want to come in, and you're giving them exactly what they want. They don't just want the thrift store price, they want the sale price. That's why you'd see Salvation Army cranking busy in the clothing section on Wednesdays, or on Saturdays, the furniture, I think, was when they always had that 50% off on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So there would be a line out the door and everyone would rush in to get to the furniture 50% off. People like a deal anyway. People like a deal on Amazon. They like Amazon deal days. They like all that stuff. But thrifters, they're like the quintessential deal people. It's exactly what they're looking for.
Yep.
So what you have with Goodwill not running sales in my area is it's a system built to not give customers what they want. They want the best possible deal. They want the sale. They want the sale day. They want to feel like they're getting it 50% off or 25% off or whatever it is. And you're literally not giving them what they want. It's kind of like a backwards mentality, because they're not looking for the highest quality things at thrift stores. They're literally looking for cheap stuff. They're looking for the best price. It's like the perfect example of the person. Like that's what they want. It's it. It's like the core of it. I don't know if I think I'm mansplaining it now, but it's like, that's what they want. Give them the sale. What are you thinking? Like you're literally pricing stuff up, never pricing it down. And it's all the same old junk that was there the last week. People are smart that go and do this stuff. They're deal people, whether they're professionals like us, or they're people who are just really passionate about going to thrift stores once a week on their way home from work. People know when they see the same crap week after week and there's never any sales. It's a bummer to those people, but that's the core of their business and they're chasing them off.
Yep. I remember like 3 years ago when I used to go to Goodwill, and there used to be like 3 or 4 people in there with full carts of inventory. Like they just have a full cart. They go to checkout line. The checkout line gets backed up because there's so many people with full carts. Nowadays, I don't think I've ever seen, the last 4 times I've been to Goodwill, I haven't seen one person with a full cart. Everybody has like 1 or 2 items in their hand and they're checking out 1 or 2 items. So they've got to be, losing a ton of money because people aren't getting those deals that they're used to. And, maybe their lines aren't backed up and they're able to check out more people. But, it's always better to have somebody with an overflowing cart. There was literally times, I wish I was filming content, literally times, I'm sure you were, Chris, filling up your carts all the way full at Goodwill. People were stocking constantly, and now it's like a completely different atmosphere. And it happened like pretty much when COVID happened. That's when it all turned around. Here in Florida, I know too, they switched their hours and now they open up even later and they close even earlier, which also I don't think makes a lot of sense because I think Goodwill's here close at 6. So if you get off work at 5, you can't even go to the Goodwill because by the time you get there, Goodwill closes in 30 minutes. So, but I watched, there's a guy on TikTok, I forget his name, but he pops in my chat sometimes. He's in California thrifting at, I want to say it's like 8 o'clock at night, and the Goodwill closes at 9. So I catch it here at like 11 o'clock. So when I end my live, I'm able to watch somebody thrift, which is pretty cool. But it's crazy that in California, they're still open, but here in Florida, they close at 6. That it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that I don't understand either. I get it. It's tight on labor and stuff, but you would imagine that a lot of their I mean, there's a reason that retail stores stay open later than that, right? Because they know that they're making money. I mean, these are corporations. They don't make decisions like that aren't making themselves money. So it's strange to me that a thrift store wouldn't do the same. Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, doesn't make much sense.
We should, yeah, like Felix is in the chat. You should start your own nonprofit. Yeah, maybe so. But I think, I also want to acknowledge that neither one of us has ran a thrift store before. We don't know their unique challenges. I don't know what it's like to be the manager at that Goodwill today and have no staff and be the cash register. Oh, by the way, there was 8 people in line in front of me, and like the cash register was like not working or something. I don't know, something weird was going on. So 2 people that were in front of me in line with stuff in their hands that they wanted to, in their other hand was their wallet or their pocketbook, right? They left because they got sick of waiting in line to buy their stuff. And that's one of my classic pieces of advice in business is don't put any obstacles in front of the cash register.
Yeah.
Don't, right? Like if somebody wants to give you money, make it as easy as possible. That's what Amazon has done with like all the easy checkout, one-click checkout stuff. Don't put any obstacles in front. Do you want to save your credit card? Keep it on file. Absolutely. Now every company is doing that. Amazon was the first to do that. Don't put obstacles in front of the cash register. Being understaffed has been crushing my local Goodwills because I'll get in line and there'll be 8 people in front of me. And I know it every time. I'm like, it's not actually 8 people in front of me. 2 of these people are going to leave. It's like 25% are just going to go away. Think about that, like for how bad that is for their business. You literally have something in their hand, money in the other. They're ready to do a deal, and you're just so understaffed that you can't take their money. It's like backwards thinking. You could pay for all their staff by the 2 people who walked out the front door that maybe we're going to buy $20 worth of stuff each, right? That's $40. They could have paid one person for 3 hours with that $40, but they literally can't get out of their own way. I do feel bad because I know the labor market's tough, but you've had 3 years to figure it out. Yeah. It's time to figure it out. I'm sorry.
Like I said, Red, White, Blue has figured it out. They know how to get 6 people stocking the floor, and they got 8 people on the registers, constantly moving inventory. Like when we're in line and the cashiers see us walk up with a full cart, sometimes 2 full carts, they roll their eyes, but they get us through the line in 30 minutes. And meanwhile, 7 other people are checking out other people while we're getting checked out. If that was at Goodwill, that person would, everybody in line, the line would be all the way out the door around the corner by the time they actually checked us out. Whereas Red, White, and Blue, quick and easy, they're in and out.
That Salvation Army that I took, that I met you at on Nebraska Avenue, that place is really, really, really well run. And how do I know they're well run? Because I see the same faces when I go in there every time, right? I see the same manager, and the manager's out on the floor. He's well dressed. Everyone else there is well dressed too. I see the same people at the checkout, and they're friendly and they're interacting with the manager. The manager's really nice to them. Manager's talking to customers and all that stuff. They have staff everywhere. They're stocking constantly. And that's a good thrift store right there. And the place is busy. The place is jammed. And there's a big long line of people, but there's 4 cashiers, and they're all experienced cashiers. You can have 4 experienced cashiers, and that's way better than 8 newbies. Right. Because those people just jam through. They have no questions, no problems. They know how to handle every little thing that comes up, and they just get people right through, no problem. Yep. And that's what that store was, that Salvation Army on Nebraska Avenue. Great store, by the way, if you're in that Tampa area, because they move inventory.
I wish it was closer to me. It's like hour and 15-minute drive, and then I got to deal with Tampa traffic. When I go to Red, White, Blue, I take Oldsmar all the way straight up, and there's hardly anybody that uses that road, so I don't have to worry about Hillsboro getting all backed up. But I hate driving in Tampa. Tampa can be crazy, especially if you get there. Like, you get there in the morning, it's fine, but by the time you leave at like 12 o'clock, then you're stuck in traffic, that midday, like lunch hour traffic, and I hate to get stuck in that traffic. I wish it was. I'd go there because people would really enjoy those Salvation Army live thrifts because that store is massive. Like you said, they're constantly stocking. I bet you I'd find all kinds of good stuff there. So if you're in the area, that's one store I do not hit that probably has a ton of stuff in it because it's just too far away.
Yeah, and there's something about that store. There's got to be some selection process at these thrift companies like Goodwill and Salvation Army, the bigger ones. There's got to, and maybe Red, White, and Blue too. There's got to be some rhyme or reason to why they're putting certain inventory and like routing it to certain places. I saw a lot of streetwear at that Nebraska Avenue thrift. I mean, I think I know why, but I would see a lot of like streetwear kind of stuff, a lot of like really big and tall stuff at that store that I didn't see as much of at the other Salvation Army. So I think that in like sneakers, they had a better sneaker game at that store too. So, I think there's some rhyme and reason to like how these stores get their stuff. That store was getting better stuff.
Yep. Yeah, there's a Goodwill in our area too. The one on 34th in St. Pete is my boy JT Resells. He goes there every day in the morning, first thing in the morning, and he leaves with like 6 pairs of shoes, Hoka's, On Clouds, Jordans, SB Dunks. Like every single day he's posting. If you're not following him on Instagram, you probably should, because he has really good shoe knowledge. He's kind of like Ethan, the college reseller. He knows his shoe brands, and every day they just finds such good stuff. And Ethan has said it before. He wishes, he could trade places with him because he finds so much good inventory just at that one store. Early in the morning, his first thing they do is they restock shoes. He knows it, shows up in line. He gets a whole bunch of really great shoes, and he posts them on his Instagram feed. And that store is literally, 15 minutes up the road, but I know he's going to be my competition. So I just let him have it, because I'd rather go to another store that has a bunch of clothing and focus on the clothing, because that's my niche. And plus, you guys know I don't list shoes. They just sit around forever before I actually get to listing them. So Chris, do you like listing shoes? I want to know this.
As you say that, I got 2 pairs of shoes under the table here. But honestly, I would say one pair I picked up 3 weeks ago, and the other, I think both pairs I picked up 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I don't find a lot of good shoes here. So I used to do a lot more shoes. So what I would do is I'd do a shoe listing day. I'd clean all the shoes. I'd let them all dry. I'd list a whole bunch of clothes. And then when those shoes were dry in a few hours, I'd come back and list all the shoes. But because I don't do enough volume in shoes anymore, I just, I like to work in batches. So it's like 2, is it really worth me like, kind of breaking out the cleaning stuff and getting in that mode when I'm like, well, I'll just go list all these clothes over here. So, yeah. But I would do more shoes again if I could get quantity.
Felix says shoes are slower than clothing. I would have to disagree. If you look at the college reseller, we go to lunch normally after Red, White, and Blue. We'll go to normally Red Robin. We'll hang out. We'll have good conversations there. And he's shown me his eBay store. He's shown me his sell-through rate. He has over 100% sell-through rate on his store, and he sells just shoes. So he knows what brands to pick up, how fast they're going to move. He doesn't mind paying up for them, because he knows what brands are going to move within 90 days. Get them in, get them out, get them gone.
Yeah, I think Felix is. I think he's trolling there, because it couldn't be any further from the truth. Believe me, if I could get shoes at the rate that I used to get shoes in Denver, I'd probably be a shoe reseller more than a clothes reseller, because they sell faster. You get a better average margin on shoes for sure. And they're way easier to comp and stuff, by the way, too. It's an easier thing to learn. I actually did clothing first, and then I did shoes, and I got way into shoes because I'm like, wow, this is so easy to learn, because every shoe has a model number, most of them anyway. So it's so easy to, like, even if they don't have a model number, it'll say like a Ghost 7 on it or something like that. And it's so easy to comp. Whereas a shirt, when you're first learning, people get like stuck in the muck and the mire, and they're like, what's the model number of this shirt? And you're like, hey, and like most of these shirts aren't going to have a model number. You're just kind of wasting your time trying to figure it out. It's plaid, it's polyester, and it's Filson. Just go. Like, that's all you get. But with shoes, you can get right down to the model and the color. It's crazy.
Mickey's asking over on Facebook, shoes $1 reserve, auction, or set price, your thoughts or advice. I'll let you go first. I think you're probably going to answer the question the same way I'm going to answer it, but you go ahead, answer this one.
I mean, it depends on the shoe. Most of the time, it's not going to make sense to do an auction on something like. I'm guessing the question is about eBay as opposed to something like a live auction like Whatnot. Mm-hmm. If you're on Whatnot, it's a whole different ballgame, because now you have a curated group of followers, people who have followed your Whatnots. They know what inventory you have, and they're buying and they're bidding against each other, and there's an interpersonal piece to it too. That's different. But if you're talking about an eBay auction for shoes, you better have something pretty darn unique and in high demand to do an auction. And I still don't even think that makes sense, because people who want shoes that are like unique and in demand, they just want to go and hit buy, like buy it now, and they want to be done. So I think you'd still, like, rather than waiting for a 7-day auction, if it's that high in demand, you're just going to list it and it's going to sell within 24 hours at a high price anyway. So for me, and I'm not a shoe seller, but I think 95% of the time that auctions, at least 95% of the time, that auction's not going to make sense for for shoes.
And the difference between eBay auctions, whatnot auctions, is it's pretty much a buy it now, because that item is going to sell in 30 seconds. So it's not like they have to wait 7 days for that shoe auction to end. It's going to end, especially if you do sudden death. That item ends in 20 to 30 seconds. The buyer knows if they win it, it's going to ship out the next day in our case. So it's a different kind of auction space. Whereas I think eBay is going to eventually move to that space. They're going to do it super slow. They're probably going to do it super late. But if they could do that right away, they would kill it, because they already have people who are on the platform used to auctions, and then they just add the whatnot type of auctions into the platform. They could kill it, but they'll probably do it late.
Yeah.
But 3 years from now, they'll have that set up.
But first, they still got to figure out how to make their bed, and they have to figure out how to get to people to pay for auctions when people win them. And they still have a problem with that. And they started as an auction business back in the 90s. That's what it was. It was auctions, and they still have people to this day, almost 30 years later, right, that they still buy, like, they win an auction and they don't pay for it. And it happens all the time. I don't do auctions, but I hear it from my followers and people in the chat all the time. They're like, I did an auction. It didn't, I got good money for it and I had to relist it again, or I did the second chance to somebody and they didn't want it either. It's like, why did I just do this 7-day auction? It's so dumb. Like, what was the point of this whole thing? So to me, they got to make their bed with that before they can get into that game.
Yeah. Speaking of a guy who does auctions, he's over on TikTok right now. Surf's Up. You should go on YouTube or Facebook and see what this looks like, because I think on Thursday or Friday, I think we're going to do a Thursday. Me and Surf's Up are going to do a split stream too. You guys can ask us questions, because we both do the clothing space just like me and Chris do. So I always like having Surf's Up on, because he has a different method. So if he finds something like a Coogee sweater, he'll put it up for a 99-cent auction, because he pays $5 for a Coogee, because he finds them all the time for $5. I don't know how he does it. He throws them up for 99 cents, knowing it's going to go for more than $5. He's going to flip it super quick. That's his model. His model is, he buys Ralph Lauren shirts, large Ralph Lauren, pony logos on the front, long sleeve, and he'll list those for $15 plus shipping, because he's paying $5 for them. He knows they're going to flip within a week and a half, and he's going to ship them out. So I like having somebody like that on that has a completely different method than me, so you guys can learn from both of us, because not every method there's not one method to make all this work. There's many methods to make all this work. Like Chris, I think you charge shipping on most of your items, whereas I give free shipping on most of my items. But I'm actually starting to change that because of Surf's Up method. So a lot of my lower priced items, I'm adding shipping costs and I'm listing them for like $15 plus shipping, because I think that'll make them sell quicker, like my Harley shirts, and it's actually been working. So I'm starting to, business, you don't do the same thing in business, forever. You're going to change your business. And definitely from learning from other people like Chris and Surf's Up, you learn so much stuff, and you learn which ways work best for them, and you try to incorporate that into your business a little bit, and maybe it'll work for you, and completely changes your business model. I always give this example of like Walmart. Before COVID, Walmart would have never greeted you at your car and dropped your groceries off the back of your car, because their store is set up so that way you have to pass by so many things that you might be enticed to buy. So like the milk is in the back of the store, because they know everybody's going to go to the milk. That's like the most purchased item in most grocery stores. Now, after COVID, they've changed their whole business, and now they have people actually going to your car to drop off your groceries, and you're not getting those impulse buys as you go through. So their business model completely changed because of, something that happened. So I always like to learn from people like Chris and Surf's Up, learn their methods and try to incorporate them into my business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so if you're going to do that turn and burn method too, I think and Surf's Up can talk about it a lot better than I can, because I don't do that model. I'm definitely like you, where I'm trying to maximize my profit per item. And if that means I have to wait a little bit longer to get my price, I'm going to wait a little bit longer to get the price.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's the best model, but in order to do that model, you have to do certain things that also cost you time and money to make sure that you get the best price. One of those things, you got to promote your items on eBay, which costs you more money per sale, because now you're paying for the promotion fee. Then we're cross-listing, right? So that therefore we're maximizing the number of people who can see that item at that high price, and it makes it more likely that someone's going to buy it. There's also people who are willing to pay more or less. There's different markets within each of the platforms. Some items will sell for more on Grailed, because the average sale price for that item on Grailed is actually higher. The comps are higher, or Poshmark versus Depop, et cetera, et cetera. So to do a model like ours, to do it best, you got to be paying to promote, and you got to be like you jacking up your price and putting it all across as many platforms as you possibly can. That's, but if you're going to do it his way, then I probably wouldn't promote, because now you got really narrow margins. You're just going to go by people are searching based on the lowest price, and move that thing quick. So then you're not probably going to cross list either, because that's costing you money every month and more time for each item to then cross list it and then take it back down. And then you have to spend more time shipping. It takes more time to ship on multiple platforms. I think you would agree with that, K-Way. Even though every morning it's not much more time, but just shifting from one platform to the next and kind of, it takes a little bit of extra time. So to me, to do the turn and burn thing, I would get rid of cross listing, buy Vendu. I would not promote on eBay. I would probably just do an eBay based business, and I'd probably add like Whatnot or something like that to it too. So that I can just turn and burn. So Whatnot, eBay, or maybe Whatnot with Poshmark Live or something like that. And no promotions, no cross listing, just go.
Yeah. It also, to push back a little bit, also depends on how much inventory you get. Like for us, we're picking up, 80. If we went to all the thrift stores in our area, we could probably pick up like 400 items in a week. So if we had, workers behind us constantly listing, then the lower margins wouldn't really affect us too much, because we got to move that inventory as fast as we can. So if you have people in the background listing, that would be a completely different business model. But this is why many business models work. There's not only one that will make all of this work. I like his method. I want to use it definitely, because we're getting so much inventory. And I'm skipping on brands that he's picking up, and he's flipping super fast, like Under Armour, like those Ralph Lauren shirts. I don't pick those up if they're like a basic size, but he's picking them up. And if you go look at his solds, you can see that he's constantly selling these things for $15 plus shipping. But he has he's got to get them for $5 or under. So he knows he's going to make about a $10 profit. And he takes very simple photos. That's another thing he does. Very quick, easy photos. He takes a picture of the logo on the front. He does a full front, full back, and the tag photos, and that's it. Super quick. So he's listing those. Probably takes him 2 minutes to actually draft them and list them. I'm sure he has a template too that he just throws all this stuff into. So if you're making that and you're able to list, 30 of those shirts in an hour, you're making $10 a piece. That's huge. That's good money. But you have to have the discipline to be able to do that too. And again, if you have workers behind you, that would speed that up too.
And that's the opposite model. Yeah, you have to do everything fast. You have to do everything cheap, so that you can't give up any of the pennies of your margins. So to me, it's like, am I going to do photo room even though it's quick? Am I going to do it? No, because it is time. Even though it's not a lot of time, it's time. So I can't devote that. And it's a little bit of money because I pay for Photo Room Pro. I'm not going to pay for Vendu because that's taking out a little bit of my margin. I also, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, it's also tough and I'm not going to take a lot of photos, right? It's because I'm like, no, I'm not quality. I'm not high price. When you're high priced, you have the nice store, the high, high quality, nice fitting rooms that you pay extra for the people that work in the store that are really nice and well dressed. But when you're doing cheap, you don't do any of that. You got to hit like the cheap store with the bad lighting and, just like move and groove, just get cheap help in there and whatever. But what I'd like to hear is your thoughts on then hiring help to be selling stuff. So if you're selling stuff at $15 plus shipping, you're basically, and you're paying $5 for that item, you're basically looking at a $7 margin at the end of the day for that. So if you're paying help, say your help crushes and they can list, I don't know how many things that you think that help could list in 1 hour if you're doing that model.
If they're well trained and you're taking minimal photos, like the Tekken Sports model, I know a lot of people know Tekken Sports. Very quick, easy photos. He has a ruler he lays down. If you did all that and you train somebody to do that, really easy, simple photos, I mean, probably 20 in an hour, maybe 15 to 20 tops. I mean, that'd be 3 minutes per listing. It would be super hard to do. You have to train somebody very well to be able to do that. And they'd probably do like an hour of drafts, an hour of photos, an hour of drafts, an hour of photos. That way they're not like moving back and forth. They're at the computer for an hour, then they're taking photos for an hour. Then they're back at a computer for an hour, taking photos for an hour. So probably by the end of the day, they probably could do anywhere between 15 and 20 listings per hour.
Let's go with 15 because I personally think 20 would be, I think that would be tough to consistently get someone to do 20. And if you did, I think you're paying a higher price point for that person. So let's go with 15. Let's be fair. So 15 items in 1 hour, and say that person's making $15 an hour. So they're taking $1 an hour out of your margin. So if you're running a lot of $7 profit items, now you're paying someone $1 for each of those items too. Now you're at it down at $6, and your cost is actually higher than $1 because then you got to pay payroll taxes and that sort of thing, and then you have to have some sort of payroll service or pay somebody or have an online service to run payroll for somebody too. So there is some cost in and above the $1. There's also training costs. There's also supervision costs for you, but we'll just call it $1. So now you're running margins at $6, and you're turning and burning, and all you're doing is you're the one finding the items. I can see it. You'd have to do a lot of quantity. I can't do that model here unless I did some sort of different sourcing that wasn't thrifting.
Right.
I could get into like the garage sale game, which I will a little bit, and kind of that then it becomes I'm getting all kinds of stuff. It's not just clothes, and I can go with that model. That's the only way I would be able to get enough stuff. If that makes sense.
Now, let's say obviously we're focusing on one number there. Let's say your average is like your lower end is your $15 items, whereas, there are going to be some $25 to $35 items mixed into there. That would bring your margin up a lot more for that person. So instead of that $90, I think that's where you were stuck at. I did the math on the side. Now you raise that to $150 minus all those extra fees and stuff. Now let's set it at $100 an hour. You're profiting $100 an hour off that one person. That might be worth it because that's $800 profit in a day if you can have them do that for 8 hours a day. Because it won't all be $15 items. Of course, you're going to go thrifting. You're going to find, profit $100 profit items. And you might list those yourself, and you might let that person list the smaller items, and then off to the side, you're listing the higher dollar items. You're taking better photos. You're getting, higher dollar sales. So if you mix it, that's why a good mix. That's why I'm trying to, do his method a little bit and then still do my method. So I'm still, selling a suit for $100 that, shout out to ChrisatPeak over here who got me into selling suits. That item will make your profit margin a lot better because you're mixing in some higher dollar stuff with some lower dollar stuff too.
Sure. And just know too that my model's not all that much different, where I'm selling my average sale price. I'm just looking at it right now for the year. What is it? Am I on the right page? What is this? Oh, I'm not on the right page.
You want Jason's spreadsheet? Can you just look on a Jason's spreadsheet?
Yeah, I was just looking on the wrong tab. I was looking at something else. So I got my average sale price is $37. That's for eBay. So how does it? Oh no, that's total. That's $37 period.
If you look up your year to date, that should have your average on it, I believe.
Yeah, it's 37. So, and that's kind of like, that can be misleading a little bit too, because right, eBay, people pay for shipping for me, but Poshmark, they don't. So it's kind of like my eBay average sale price is always higher than my Poshmark, but that's because the eBay includes the shipping price where the Poshmark doesn't, but because Poshmark collects the shipping, I don't collect the shipping. But anyway, $37, and my margin is 19 on average. But I have a lot of $12 profits margins, a lot of 11, 12, 13 is really, really common for me. But then I have the home runs that kind of pull up that average, like some sales from today that I haven't shared yet because I haven't done my live tomorrow. But like I had a Laura Piana shirt that sold in 25 hours total from being listed. And I'll make a profit of $59 after shipping. Depends on how much the shipping cost is, but we'll estimate that the shipping's $5. It'll be a $59 profit. So, I have a ton of $12 and $13. Boom, 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 boom. And then I'll get like a 59 like that. And then I had a sweater that sold that I'll make like 25 off of, right? So that pulls that average back up towards that 19 number.
Now, you'll be mad at me. The last time we went to red, white, and blue in our area was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I waited to the last minute to go to the suit section. There was another lady ahead of me. She was going through suits. I saw in her cart 2 Laurel Piana. I think there were Ralph Lauren suits or something, but I saw the Laurel Piana label on them. And I'm like, damn, she got them. Like those are probably big money suits. I know that because I found dress shirts with Laurel Piana on it, but I've never picked up a suit with it. I know those gotta be big money. I was so mad.
Yep. And that's what brings up my ASP is like people will see me selling Wranglers and Ralph Lauren's and LL Beans and Brooks Brothers all morning, right? But then boom, that blazer comes along that sold, that Xenia blazer that sold for $79 plus shipping, right? And that's like selling 4 or 5 of the shirts, right? Like, in terms of profit. So yeah, it's an interesting conversation. I'd love to continue to talk about it a little bit, but for me, I think I'm always trying to think about it, not necessarily as we're having this conversation. I'm thinking more about like you, and I'm thinking more about I'm pointing to the chat, like on the side here. I'm thinking more like, how does this apply to everybody else, more so than how it applies to me? Because honestly, at this point, I feel like and I've always been this way. I'm more of a coach. I'm better at helping other people than I am at doing my own shit, frankly. And I enjoy it a lot more. So to me, it's like, I'm thinking through that whole process. Like, how do I explain this? But for me, that model would be very difficult to do in this area. And I think there's probably a lot of people in the chat that don't live in a Tampa thrift market where they can just, like you, turn down like, well, I'm not going to pick up that shirt because it's only going to sell for 20 plus ship or 22 plus ship or 25 plus ship. I ain't got time for that. And I know there's a lot of people in the chat are like, what are you talking about? Like, if I find that, that's really good. Like, I can't, I don't find North Face Summit Series jackets all day and all night. Actually, my thrifts right now don't have any men. Like, the last 4 Goodwills I've been to don't have any men's jackets in them, period.
Yeah.
They don't have any. They're just not, they just don't have them. Which is interesting. We're a mountain area and people wear that stuff even now, and a lot of people here travel all over the place to hike and climb and ski, and it's very strange to me that they wouldn't have that stuff out. But in the blazers, they're not stocking blazers and suits right now. A few of the stores, one of them I went to, they had like 8 blazers and suits total. That's it, the whole thing. 8. I went there 3 weeks ago, they had 40. Now they have 8. You're like, awesome.
Yeah, I think Goodwill's in our area do the same thing. They pull all the jackets. Surfs Up in my TikTok live. He said his ASP is $43. I can't make this up. My ASP is $42.99. It's literally $43. It's exactly the same. So, that's awesome. A good ASP to live by. That means I have a lot of low dollar items that I'm selling. I'm also in my spreadsheet too. I have my whatnot sales in there too, so that brings down my margins because those are really fast sales that we're getting. Not that much margin, but I mean, we don't even have to list them. We just take 2 photos and we throw it up on Whatnot. And to be honest, we don't even have to do that. That's just an extra step that we take. There's some people on Whatnot that just write the title and they show the item on the stream. We do it a little bit different. We like to kind of show you guys exactly what you guys are going to bid on before, because we do get pre-bids. But yeah, that adds in all of those things too. So I think my ASP this year might actually be lower, but I'm selling way more items this year than I was ever before. So it works for us. And what works for us might not work for others. What works for Chris might not work for others. But I will agree with you. If you guys are just starting out, I think you should focus more on listing higher dollar items, because obviously if you work a full-time job, you're not going to have a lot of free time to be able to list a bunch of low dollar items. You should really focus on those high dollar items, get those listed, make more, and then you can turn that over in your business. That's what I did when I first started too.
Check this out. My last year's ASP was $39.59. And this year I said it's $37.02. So it's a full like $2.50 lower, which is pretty significant in terms of a percentage.
But last year you were in Florida, whereas now you're in.
I was in Florida for 9 of the 12 months. So, just that change right there. And here's the other thing, that ASP is probably going to go down a little bit too, because short sleeves tend to sell for less than quilted flannels or jackets, right? And so those things still, flannels and stuff will still sell. We don't have to go through this conversation. The primo stuff sells year round. The mediocre stuff will start to sit around. But that stuff, that higher value stuff, I have a higher ASP typically in the winter months, and then it kind of falls a little bit. I sell less jeans, more shorts. I sell less, quilted LL Bean chamois shirts and that kind of stuff, which are higher dollars, and jackets and stuff. And I sell more polo shirts and lighter weight stuff. So
Sanders asked a good question. What did you do before Red, White, and Blue? I actually did kind of what everybody else in the chat does. I went to Goodwills and Salvation Armies. When I worked a full-time job, I would stop at Goodwills and Salvation Armies on the way home. I'd pick up, back then I would get 7 to 10 items from a Goodwill Salvation Army. I'd list those that night, do the same thing the very next day. I just found out about Red, White, and Blue just recently. So that completely changed my whole business model, because now I can go to one store and get a whole week's worth of inventory, as opposed to having to go to 7 stores and getting a whole week's worth of inventory. So, obviously, if you don't have Red, White, and Blue, it's a store like this, obviously it's nice to have it, but you can still make it work, because I made it work for a very, very long time without ever knowing about red, white, and blue.
Yeah, you just got to adapt to your market. And frankly, I'm still adapting to my market. I'm 6 months in, right? So I'm still trying to figure out what's my focus. I'll also mention to Humphrey, Bobby said in the chat, suits are tough to price since you find out about the kind, but not the exact suit or blazer. That'll come with some time. I think you're pretty new to suits and blazers. So the pricing will get a little bit easier to you. And the best way to learn it is by selling stuff and see what kind of offers that you're getting coming in. And the pricing is going to get a lot easier. You'll also start recognizing tags like the different fabrics, like wool fabrics that are worth more. Even though it's Brooks Brothers, it has this Italian wool in it, like the Estrada wool, that's worth $10 more. You'll start figuring all that stuff out over time. But then your pricing, like the time that you're spending on it, that'll just go away. Like you'll just know. So for me, like all my Brooks Brothers blazers are $42. I price them at that. If it's a really nice one, it goes up to $49. If it's a suit, it's priced at $70. If it's priced at $89. If it's a really nice one, it'll go up to $99 or $109. But I don't really spend, once you know like the price point that works for you in your photos and your measurements and your listing and your promoting fees, like you got to figure out what works for you. And then it becomes really easy.
I have to laugh because we have Randy in the chat. He's like, "Oh, hail the clothing gods." I was trying not to laugh, but he said that. I was like, "Oh."
And meanwhile, Randy's over there like, I don't even want to listen to what they're going to say. He's just like, he's reading a book right now. And because he's like, I don't want to do anything with what their clothing is. He's like, I'm just looking for stuff that I can buy for $10 at the thrift store and sell for $375. And it's going to be a weird Pegasus statue. I'm just trying to think of an example. I think you had a gold
Yes, he had one
Pegasus
last
statue.
night on his live. I was like, man, I would have never picked that thing up. He's like, I paid up for this. I'm going to sell it for like $200. I was like, I would have never.
But that's fine. He'll leave behind the Hermenegildo Senya suits, and we'll sell those for $300 or $400 and pay $10 for them. So that's fine.
Yeah, he's at we're actually messing around right now. If Randy, if you're just hopping in, I was figuring out how to use this. So I'm using Restream right now. I'm streaming on TikTok. TikTok is separate, but I'm on YouTube and Facebook. And I know you were doing you were on live last night. I shared to my Facebook page. So you might want to look into this, because I remember you were saying that you want to grow your Facebook page next. And I think live space is going to grow on Facebook year after year. It's going to get bigger and bigger, and you could use Restream to do all this. So that's what we're doing right now. We're kind of messing around with it. I'm trying to get Chris to buy it. That's what I'm really doing. I think Chris is starting to get intrigued.
Is this an affiliate link that you got me going?
Yeah, it is. I actually just sent you an affiliate link. So if you sign up through my link, they're going to give me $100 every sign up.
Randy, I'll send you a link.
Oh man. All right, we'll take one more quick question if anybody has one, and then we're gonna head off. I actually got to get to bed in the next 30 minutes, because I got to wake up early. Tomorrow's our live thrifting day. 9 a.m. We're gonna hit up a red, white, and blue. So if you're not following on TikTok, go give a follow. I wish I could do multiple streams for that live, but I can only do it on TikTok. So.
What time is the sleeping live tonight?
That's going to be in 30 minutes. Like I said, I'm gonna go get dressed. I have to put on my favorite pair of pajamas, and then we're gonna be sleeping together. And I'm gonna have the setup. So if you send me gifts, like lights are gonna go off, and it's gonna wake me up. So I'm gonna make sure they're all Galaxy gifts and bigger. I can't do these small gifts anymore.
And that's on the other channel, by the way, too. Top, it's at Kway Snore. You have to go to at Kway Snore, and that's where you can see the sleeping live, because that has to be 18 plus and all that stuff.
Funky Flips asks, Realstream work on all platforms? I believe so. You have to have like a link for TikTok. You have to have a link for Instagram, and the rest you call just just connect it, and it just connects right away. It's mainly for streaming horizontally and not vertically, but you can stream on the platforms like TikTok that do vertically. So I'm still trying to figure it out. This is my first night doing it. But like I said, it only took about 10 minutes to set up. It was really, really simple, really easy. So yeah. All right, Chris. Well, I appreciate you hopping on. Hopefully tomorrow, Chris is going to have his Restream set up. He's literally going to do his stream tomorrow. So make sure you look for that. It's Restream.io if anybody's interested in it to download. Those of you who make content, it's a really good platform. So definitely appreciate you having on for the first Restream. It was nice having somebody else, so I didn't look like a fool trying to figure all this stuff out.
It's fun. Yeah, no, I really appreciate you having me on. And again, appreciate you just doing all this content and sharing all this stuff with people, and yeah, just giving all your knowledge away. I think it's super cool, and I respect it a ton. So
100%. Same to you. Same to you. All right, everybody. I'm going to go head off tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. live thrift over on TikTok. Be there. I'll catch you guys there. Peace out.